Alright guys, I'm Johnny Scoville and this is Chase the Heat.
Attention on the concourse, Delta Flight 4131, service to Los Angeles. Is in the final boarding stages here at F7. Again, Delta Flight 4131, service to Los Angeles is in the final boarding stages.
I'm not going to Los Angeles, I'm going back to Fort Mill, but I got a really obscure route to do it today. So I'm starting out this morning, and believe it or not, I don't get home until like 9 o'clock tonight. So the minute I go live, I get a phone call. So, I'm not sure who's here. Tell me how I sound. I got my phone fixed, and the volume should be a lot better. Can you hear me okay? Clues? Junior Gretchel, good to see you. So, can you guys hear me? Oh, you good. You can hear me. Constantly. Awesome. What an awesome name. I dig that. Bunch of good people here. This is great. All right, so listen, it was a crazy trip because we did a road trip. Tommy and I, we haven't done a road trip in a long time, so that was fun. Yesterday, the movers got there, and it was just the craziest. Listen, this whole thing has been crazy. But I haven't had more than like 3 or 4 hours sleep in like a week and a half per night. It's 3.5 per night. I'm probably being generous. Last night was a tough one. Big shout out to my niece, Hannah, and her husband, David. I crashed at their place in Phoenix last night. But I had a great time. So I hope you guys are doing well, man. Look at this. Scott Sonnet, good to see you. Anthony Collinsworth, good to see you. Brandon Swoboda. B. McAllister. Kevin Green. B. McAllister is from Niagara Falls. Thanks for being here, man. Digital Racing, or Ragdoll Racing, sorry. Yeah, you know, I've been sleeping 4 hours a night for a really long time, and I used to think this is embarrassing. Are you guys ready? I used to think it was sort of like a badge of honor. Hi, Brian. Hi, Kevin. Charlie, Mary, good to see you guys. Dennis Brace, awesome. So I used to see it as a badge of honor. I work hard, I only sleep 4 hours a day. Then it sort of just became initially, I don't know. See, usually I'm okay with that. And I can do 4 hours a night for a period of time, and then I'll find myself sleeping for like 8 or 10 hours, and then I'm good for another month or two. But that's not healthy. I've been reading some stuff about how dangerous it is to not sleep enough. Mac Whitaker, good to see you, Mac. Yeah, sleep's important. Brandon Toaster, good to see you. Northern California for Clues. There you go. RS, good to see you. Thanks for being here, Robert. The food experience. It was awesome meeting you in San Diego a couple weeks ago. Yes, it was. Thank you. It was good seeing everybody. It was a lot of fun. Morning crew, exactly. Cincinnati, good to see you. I only need that during the week, but I sleep for 8 hours on the weekends. Here's my problem. I can't. I want to sleep longer, and I just, like every day out here since we got here, and I've been in Tucson, and I don't have anything to do. And early in the morning, I'm up at 4 or 5 o'clock, and it's ridiculous. King of Women, good to see you. James Germain, good to see you. Praying for safe travels. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't really worry too much about it. You know what I mean? Appreciate everybody's prayers, but you know, when your time is your time, that's it. Whether you're in a submarine or whether you're on a beach somewhere or in your bed. I don't think my time is done yet. So I heard a really good thing once. Like on your tombstone, there's 2 dates: the date that you're born and the date that you die. But neither of those dates matter. They really don't. It's that dash between the 2 dates that matter. What happened between those 2 dates? So that dash is what it's all about. So I'm just looking to have a great dash. That's all. Howard, good to see you. I don't ride motorcycles ragdoll racing. I've ridden them a lot in the past, but I'm scared of them, man. You know, I've lost a lot of friends on them, and it was never their fault. It was somebody else's fault. It's not true. One of them was probably his fault. Yeah, one of them was his fault. But a lot of them, not their fault, you know? It's a dangerous thing. Everything in between that really matters. Exactly, food experience. And the other thing that's weird is, I'm telling you, man, all these like, I got a great sense of humor. I do. I like to think I do anyway. But when that sub, I've been plagued by the thoughts of that. When that sub was underwater, how there were so many people making jokes about it. I read about it. It's really interesting. It's a narcissistic thing. There's so much attention going somewhere else that they need it on them, even if they're going to say something hateful and almost taboo. If they're going to get the attention, you know, like a bad shot, like a kid who's not being raised properly. Attention is good, whether it's good attention or bad attention. It's a narcissistic sort of thing, and when you have an adult making memes like that, that's kind of what you're getting. They're you know, they don't care if it's good or bad. They just want attention and eyes on them. And it really struck me. You know, I remember when the space shuttles, there were jokes, but there wasn't social media where all those jokes were posted and you could see them. And I don't know, man. Just weird what where our country is. It's bizarre. It's once appointed a man to die. We will not be late for that appointment. Is that Whitaker? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree with that. Here's the thing. I don't worry about dying. It's funny, you know? It's not a matter of being brave. I'm not scared of it. It's just not something I'm worried about. I'm really sure of where I'm going. So it's not something I stress about. A life is a life, and no one should really be making fun of someone else's misfortunes. Food Experience says there's a Schadenfreude. I can't remember the word. There's a word in German. Someone will remember it right here because I've talked about it before. It's a word that means taking pleasure in the demise or misfortune of others. And while it's a drag, you got to respect the Germans for it. There you go, Schadenfreude. There you go, Ted. Thank you. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. But what it is at least they owned it. At least they have a word. We do too, like a jerk or a loser or a scumbag, or you know what I mean. You make a joke about somebody's death, you're a scumbag. You just are. I mean, I don't care if you think it's funny, and then they double down and, oh, you don't like my memes? Tough. I'm just like, and I don't want to start unfollowing people. I really don't want to do that. But I don't know. It's just a strange thing. See, I'm not a young guy. I didn't start my channel when I was 20. You know what I mean? So what I do is easy. It's not like what Steve-O does. You know, the jackass stunts. As you get older, those things get harder. I don't have to worry about that. So you guys may be around. When I die, you got to hear this. Before I'm buried, they're going to be making memes about me. It's the truth. I don't really care, but I worry about the people that love me that are still around. We need more compassionate people on this earth. We really do, Ragdoll Racing. Scott Sonnet, life is like a lightning strike. Over so fast, gone in a blink. So if you want your mark to last, make a flash and have a blast. Well, that's great. You know, you only get one trip. You know what I mean? I posted a meme a couple years ago that said, we only have one life. Why aren't we running towards our goals like our clothes are on fire? And that's what I do. I run at my goals, man. Here's the problem. I don't know what goals to set right now. That's where a dilemma I'm in right now. I'm a big journal. I like journaling in the morning and at night, and writing your goals down is important. But things are happening to me right now that make it almost impossible for me to write down goals. I never could have imagined things happening now, and all this sort of unfolded organically. So I didn't really, you know what I mean? So I don't really know what goals to set. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like, I've readjusted my bucket list 10 times since I started this channel. M. Hunt, good to see you, man. So good to see you. The Bible Flicks, awesome work. Thank you. Anywho, I'm really glad that my cell phone works. For those of you who didn't hear the story, it's just been dying, though. Nobody could hear me. It was a real drag. So I took my phone. I had an older Apple iPhone 9, brand new, still in the box essentially. And if I couldn't get this one, which is an 11, if I couldn't get this one sorted out, I was just gonna put everything on the iPhone 9, which would have been a drag. So I brought it into the iPhone store. They had me sit at the Genius bar. How funny is that? Oh my God, the irony in that. Anyway, I'm at their Genius bar, and I ended up talking with this police officer. She came in and sat down, and she was a trip. We talked for a while, and she'd been a cop for 17 years. She's a super friendly person. And she asked me what I do, and Tommy was there, and while we were there, he got a phone call from Alan Ballantyne from Australia. So he stepped outside to take this phone call. He never saw the cop, okay? So he walked outside before the cop had walked up to me. So he never saw the cop in the store at all. So while he's out there talking to Alan Ballantyne, this cop walks up and we start the conversation. She's very friendly, and anyway, I probably talked to her for 20 minutes, and my brother's walking. They asked me what I was doing. I said, I helped my brother move. And I said, it's my brother and I. He's walking in. He goes, oh my God, it looks just like you. I said, yeah. She goes, you want to pull a prank on him? I'm like, what? She goes, turn around, put your hands behind your back. I'll act like I'm arresting you. I swear it was her idea. So I turned around and put my hands behind my back. That's Tommy's. I feel so terrible about this. Because if you know Tommy's history, this was not a funny joke. If you know my history, it's not a funny joke. But anyway, he stopped and looked at me. His eyes got as big as, like that. He just looked at me. I'm like, no, it's cool. I'm just kidding. And she started laughing. He walked up and I said, dude, I'm sorry, but this was her idea. Anyway, he took my phone apart. Not really apart. He just put it on this thing and kind of worked it. And it turns out my phone's grimy. So here's the deal, guys. When you put your phone in your pocket, it gets loaded up with dust and, you know, over time, like when I walked in, I said to the guy, he goes, did it stop working all of a sudden, or was it sort of a gradual thing? I said, no, man, it was a gradual thing. So he goes, that's a good sign. If it was all at once, then something snapped or something broke. But if it's gradual, it's probably just funk. So he cleaned it, and thank goodness it's fixed. But what a funny experience that was. Grand P 88, good to see you. The Pepper Virgin, good to see you. Uncle Bull Cow, good to see you, bro. Good question, Chris. Have you ate your bucket list pepper yet? Here's the thing. I don't have any peppers on a bucket list at all. I know. I've been very fortunate. I mean, every time a new pepper comes out, they're going to want to send me one. So I've been very fortunate to eat the great, you know, very exotic stuff that very few people are ever going to see. It's really weird. I eat peppers that, if the world could continue for another 100 years, it'd be 100 years before you're going to see them in stores. Just really obscure, exotic stuff. So, meals and things are on my bucket list. I really, you know, getting to Australia, being with Brie is on my bucket list. But here's the thing: several things that are on my bucket list, I'm going to be doing in the next 2 or 3 months. I can't tell you why, but I mean bucket list stuff that was financially out of reach. And that was the reason I haven't been able to do it, because financially they've been out of reach, and now I'm going to be able to do these things. You know, you'll learn more about that as it gets closer. But hi amigo, good to see you. Balake, Richardson, both Balakes in the morning. When you can get both Balakes in the morning, that's a good thing, man. We need a full movie, says Pepper Virgin. Full movie? What do you mean? Ragdoll Racing, yeah, come to Perth, Western Australia. Yeah, I was there 4 years ago or something. I had a good time in Perth. You want something funny? I was in Perth, and the guy I was with at one point, he goes, do you want to do a radio show? We got a radio that wants to do a spot with you on the radio. One of the guys may even eat a pepper. I'm like, sure, let's go. So he goes, it's just a short drive up the road. In Australia, a short drive, it's different than in America. Like in America, a short drive is a minute and a half, 2 minutes, maybe 5. You know, a short drive in Australia can be an hour or 2. You know, a long drive in Australia is 10. So we drove to this radio. There's a radio station in the middle of nowhere in Perth. I mean, nowhere. As we're driving out, I'm looking over. I look out and I see camels, wild camels. I'm like, dude, I just saw a camel. He's like, yeah, we have camels here. I didn't know that. Anyway, I got to the radio station, did the radio spot, and for some reason, the way it worked out, we needed to get a Uber out of there. We got an Uber. That thing arrived within 5 minutes, and it seemed like you could spit into the outback. It was like really in the middle of nowhere. It was crazy. Miguel Torres, good to see you, bro. I met Miguel the first time in person out in San Diego. It was a lot of fun. Also, there's some, you know, I was in Perth. No, in Sydney. I was in Sydney, and we saw some bats. most unbelievable things I've ever seen. They looked like a dog, and not a little dog, like a decent sized dog with wings on it. Skinny dog, not a thick dog, but it was the craziest thing. So people are starting to give me the stink eye. I don't see people live stream from the airport too often. All right, listen. I'm gonna log off right now. I got a flight in a little bit. They told me to get here 2 hours early. Oh, that was an error. So I have a brutal layover, and I'm going from here to Columbus. Columbus? Yeah. Hang on. No, Cleveland, sorry. I'm going to Cleveland, and I have a pretty decent layover, so when I get there, yeah, Cleveland, Ohio, right? So when I get to, thank you, Scotch Sonnet. When I get to Cleveland, since I got a long layover, I'll probably live stream for a little bit again, since my phone works now. Man, it's so much better. All right, so we're gonna log off now. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I love you all. I really appreciate it. Richie J Ventures, thanks for being here. CM's got a nice garden. I'd love to hear that. All right, you guys are all awesome. Bruce Cook, good to see you. Guys, we'll catch you all this afternoon after I get into Cleveland. And then I don't get home till 9 o'clock tonight, East Coast time, but back to the grind tomorrow. I love you guys. I'm Johnny Scoville. And this was Chase the Heat.